superintendent. Reporting live outside of Greendale High School, Chip Brewster, Fox 6 News.
All right, thank you for the latest, Chip.
A New Berlin woman accused of helping to beat a Brookfield businessman to death avoids life in prison. But as Fox 6's Ashley Sears explains, she takes a plea deal but still won't say if she's involved in the murder.
In this Waukesha County courtroom, Lynn Hajny sits ready to make a deal.
Court will call the matter in regards to State versus Lynn Hajny.
She's accused of going to this home last June with Tommy Doyette. Criminal complaint says the two wanted money from Brookfield businessman John Aegerter. They're accused of beating him to death. When police got to Aegerter's home, they found him in his garage, tied with electrical cords, wrapped in duct tape, with a bag over his head. Evidence points to Hajny being at the crime scene.
The blood of the victim, John Aegerter, was on her jeans and on her shoe.
In court, Hajny does not admit guilt, but recognizes enough evidence does exist to convict her of the brutal murder.
We're not stipulating or accepting those facts as true.
Instead, she is convicted of felony murder. An original charge of first-degree intentional homicide is dropped.
It reduces her exposure materially and more closely mirrors the actual facts. The homicide was committed by Mr. Doyette.
The deal is cut just 1 week before she was set to go to trial, and her co-defendant was going to take the stand against her. But his character was called into question.
It may not be as simple of a prosecution when there's other, perhaps unbiased testimony.
As she walks out of the courtroom, she avoids life in prison and awaits her sentencing. Hajny faces more than 15 years in prison. Her co-defendant, Tommy Doyette, pleaded guilty last January. He faces 40 years in prison. The two will be sentenced together October 9th. Live in the newsroom, Ashley Sears, Fox 6 News.
Last chapter. Thank you. Thanks, Ashley. Your electric bill could be going up. We Energies wants to raise both residential and commercial rates over the next 2 years. The average bill would go up about $5 a month next year. Then it would go up another $3 the following year, a month. The utility blames the rate hike on two things: new regulations requiring the company to reduce emissions, and also the cost overruns and legal fees related to the Oak Creek power plant expansion.
We've made those costs available to PSC, and they will take a look at whether or not any of those costs, whether it was for the Oak Creek facility or any of the other costs, were prudently incurred, and then they will determine whether they should be in rates or not.
A decision on the proposed rate hikes will come next month or early December, perhaps. We Energies, by the way, reported $22 million more in profits during the first half of this year, but they chalk that up to all the hot weather and increased utility usage.
Well, speaking of hot, may not be the hottest of wins, but you know what? A win is a win.
We're talking about the Packers, of course. Coming up, two takes on what happened yesterday.
And you may not be thinking about the holidays just yet, but